Kia listeners, let's learn sumo. Welcome to the September Banzuke. I'm Clayton. Hit the subscribe button for regular sumo episode updates and visit me at Insta and Twitter and Facebook at Let's Learn Sumo. Leave a comment, ask a question. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. It's Banzuke Day for the September Aki tournament in Tokyo. There's a few little surprises on the list. Now, as we know, the Banzuke is the all-important ranking list for each sumo tournament. This one for the tournament starting in 2 weeks on a Sunday in September. The ranking committee gets together and they look at the record from the previous tournament and who made Kachi Koshi a winning record and by how much, and who made a Make Koshi or a losing record, which would be about a 7 and 8 losing record. Things that are also taken into account include the ranking of each Rishiki that each other Rishiki fought. And certainly if you're a Megashira 17, you won bouts against a higher ranked wrestlers, say a Sekiwake, you might find yourself getting a bigger than usual promotion. So let's get into it. No surprises. First up with Terunofuji, the Yokozuna East. He's there by himself at the moment. Kirishima gets Ozeki 1 rank East as the highest ranking Ozeki because he competed in July, whereas the other more senior Ozeki, Takakeisho, he didn't compete at all in July. So he falls half a rank to Ozeki 1 West as the second highest ranked Ozeki. Hoshoryu, even though he had a better score after the July tournament, he gets to fill a spot at Ozeki 2 West, but because he's coming in on debut, he is the third-ranked Ozeki. He sits on the western side to balance out the Yokozuna at East. Daisho and Wakamoto Haru, they keep their Sekiwake rank, and they're joined by Kotono Waka from Komusubi. He sees a promotion up from Komusubi after his pretty good run at July. Nishikigi and Tobizaru, they're both up from Megashira 1, so they get promoted to Komusubi. Now remember, Komusubi can only have 2 Rishiki in it at any one time. So that's where it kind of left Hokuto Fuji on the outer. Now remember, Hokuto Fuji, he actually fought off in the fight-off bout for the Basho in July, but he doesn't get up that far. Anyway, Magashira, it got a little bit interesting there. So due to his excellent tournament and being in the fight for the Basho, Hokuto Fuji gets a 9-place promotion to Magashira 1. Meisei is one of the few with a Kachikoshi winning record in July at that level. He also got promoted up. He gets up to promotion to Megashira 1 West. Abi, unfortunately, because he at Komusubi, he ended up with a pretty poor record, so he gets a demotion 2 ranks from Komusubi down to Megashira 2 East with the promoted Asanayama. Asanayama's on his way back up after a bit of time out, and he gets a 4-rank lift after his 8 wins, 4 losses and 3 absences in July. It's clear he'll find his way back up to Sekitori ranks pretty soon. It's just a matter of keeping himself on a run. Meisei, he finished with an 8 and 7, so he got a Kachikoshi, which gets him back up to Megashira 1. From there, Megashira 2, we talked about Asanayama. He's back up. Abi joins him on a small demotion. I'll just get back to my notes here. Where are we? We got Abi. He got a bit of a demotion from 2 ranks from Komusuri to Magashira 2 East with the promoted Asanayama. Asanayama's back on his way up, we talked about. Magashira 3 sees Shodai demoted 1 rank on the back of his 6 and 9 from July, and he was given one of those as a Fusen default win against Terunofuji, the Yokozuna, so he's probably a bit luckier than Midori Fuji. Midori Fuji drops 6 places on a 4 and 11 record. It's kind of hard to see the difference between one actual win with 6 drops versus 1 drop for the extra win. I think Midori Fuji's probably been a little bit hard done by falling from Megashira 3 to 9 compared to Shodai dropping 1 with an extra win. A little bit harsh. Tamawashi, he gets a 4-rank promotion at Magashira 4 after his 8 and 7 Kachikoshi. He won one against Daisho and lost one against Hoshoryu, so it's probably a fair lift given that most of the ranks around the Magashira 1 down to about 10 have a pretty poor record there. It's a sea of red in Makekoshi records. Magashira 4 is probably the last of my correct guesses where Takanosho and Ura ended up. Down to this point, I actually had all of my guesses correct, but it kind of went a bit pear-shaped after Magashira 4. Takanosho's up 5 ranks from Magashira 9 on his 8 and 7 record. Ura just missed out on his Kachikoshi at 7 and 8, so he keeps his rank at Magashira 4. He's probably a little bit lucky there, to be honest, but he's surrounded by a group of guys that all punched out a pretty poor record in July, if we're honest. Here's where my rank guesses tended to slip, although I didn't miss anyone by more than 2 ranks in the Banzuke, so I'm kind of relatively happy about that. Close, but not close enough. Magashira 5, I got 1 correct with Gonoyama promoted 8 ranks from Magashira 13 after his strong 10 and 5 double digit in July. Shononumi, he got an even bigger lift at 9 ranks on the back of his 10 and 5. And I suppose I can also be forgiven for thinking he didn't really deserve to go up 9 ranks next to the higher placed Gonoyama from July. So I'll wear that one. I had Shononumi at Magashira 6, but Onosho and Ryuden get that rank. I had Shononumi and Ryuden in my guesses in this place, so 1 out of 2 isn't bad, given my thinking there that Shononumi probably deserved to be 1 rank lower. Magashira 7 I had incorrect, as the Banzuke had Takayasu and Oho at Magashira 7. Takayasu holds his rank at 7 and 8 on his Makekoshi, and Oho drops 1 rank from 6 and 9 record in July. So down to Magashira 7, not too bad for him. Bit of an easy drop. Magashira 8, Koto Eko climbs 3 rank places after he punched out an 8 and 7 Kachikoshi. Hirodumi gets a 3 rank drop after his pretty poor July at 5 and 10. So the big shoulder man at Magashira 8, Hirodumi, big round belly man, he gets a 5 and 10. So he both at Magashira 8. Here's where I thought Midori Fuji, he got a pretty hefty drop in comparison to Shodai. He's down to Magashira 9 after a massive promotion to Hakuoho. He goes up from Magashira 17 to Magashira 9 on an 8-rank promotion. So Midori Fuji and Hakuoho in Magashira 9. To be fair, I guessed Hakuoho would go as high as Magashira 7, to be honest. So it wasn't too far off, 2 ranks out, but it's a pretty big jump from Magashira 7 to 17 to 9. Magashira 10 sees Kinbozan keep his rank on the back of a 7 and 8. He's probably a bit lucky there. Endo gets a big lift from Magashira 17 after his good July. He made double digits with a 10 and 5. Endo really needed that double digit. He was on the edge of going down to Juryo after a couple of fairly poor tournaments, so he's back up. Magashira 11, poor old Mitakayumi, he has a big drop from Magashira 2 to 11. He dropped 9 places as a result of his fairly awful July with a 3 and 12 record. He's hoping his mind can be back to business after his personal tragedies just before July. Magashira 12, we see Takara Fuji and Sadanumi. I had one correct here with Takara Fuji getting a 3-place promotion after a good 9 and 6 in July. Sadanumi, I had him 2 places higher, but his 5 and 10 really got him whacked down 4 places. It's fairly clear in this Banzuke that some of the poorer records really copped a fairly heavy demotion all the way down the list. Midori Fuji and Sadanumi both there, as well as Mitakayumi. I had 1 correct with Takara Fuji and Magashira 12. Magashira 13, I had 1 correct with Miguryu, dropping 3 places after his 6 and 9. Nishiki Fuji, he had a 5-place drop due to his awful 5 and 10. He joined Midori Fuji in a big drop of 5 places. 1 correct with Miguryu in Magashira 13. Magashira 14, we had Ayama, the journeyman, who just keeps on saving himself in Makuchi. At Magashira 17, he was in deep trouble, but he had a pretty good tournament. He punched out 9-6, 9 wins, 6 losses to get himself a 3-place lift for another round in Makuchi. I had one correct here with Ayama. Magashira 15 sees Atami Fuji back up to Makuchi after he dropped from his pretty bad debut of 4-11 back in November 2022, but he was back in Juryo for a few months. He's won that tournament in July with an 11-4 record, so he comes straight back up to Magashira 15. Chiyo Shoma joins him at 15, dropping 3 places from a 6-9 record. Magashira 16 has Kageyaki and Sugurisho. Sugurisho gets a 5-place drop on a 5-10 record, so 5 wins, 10 losses. He needs Kachikoshi or it's back to Juryo for him in September. He really needs a good tournament in September. Kageyaki comes back to Makuchi from Juryo after a 9-6 in Juryo 1. He's been back and forth between the divisions for a couple of years now, so a little bit of consistency and a bit more of a run into Makuchi. Last rank has Dai Shoho. He was probably a bit unlucky to drop 3 places on a 6-9 record behind the Juryo competitors, but these judges, they've been very harsh on these Makikoshi records from July. They've really whacked a few people along the list. If anything's a bit of a surprise, it's some of the harsher demotions that we've seen. So we're approaching the September tournament. How did you go with your guesses on the Banzuke? It's always a little bit of a thing. You can sit there for hours and mull over these promotions and demotions. I think I ended up with 22 correct out of 42 Rishiki, so not too bad for an early guess. Hope you did better than me. I hope you're looking forward to the tournament coming in September. I'll talk to you as the tournament gets closer. We'll try and punch out another episode next week. We might find a subject to help us understand the September tournament a little bit better. Anyway, enjoy your sumo. I'm Clayton. Hakioi, let's learn sumo.